Welcome to the Indie Horror Junkie podcast. Tonight, you will be joining Rotting Ricky and Asylum Amy as they play host to some of the true movers and shakers in the indie horror scene. So lock your doors, check under the bed, and get comfortable, because here we go.
And we're the Saska Sisters. And this is Indie Horror Junkies! Indie Horror Junkies! Indie Horror Junkies!
Evening, Jeff. How's it going, Rotting Ricky?
It's going well, Amy, and you?
Doing good. We are episode 83 of the Indie Horror Junkie podcast. So welcome to the show, all of our junkies. If you're new, what's up? If you're returning, thank you for coming back around. We love the support. We love chatting with you. Tonight we have a very special guest, writer-director Jacob Cooney. We're going to be talking about his indie horror short film. It's a horror sci-fi called Kreaster. But before we get into that, we've got some indie horror news. So let's get into our weekly spiel. We have Indie Horror Junkie Film Fest. Our submissions are open. So that would be at MegaCon Orlando next March 2026. So if you have an indie short film, a feature film, head over to Film Freeway. Make sure you submit your film. You've got plenty of time, but you want to get that early bird price. We all know you filmmakers are trying to get your films in all these festivals, so definitely get in while you can get a discounted rate early on with that early bird. And speaking of film festivals, we also have ScareCon that we are presenting this year for the ScareCon event that's happening in New York, horror sci-fi convention. A little bit of everything they have going on. They have some amazing guests in addition to their film festival. Some of their guests this year are going to be Melissa Rose. We have, there we go, Dave Sheridan. We have Daniel Roebuck, Kane Hodder, the lovable Phil Falcone. So this is just getting started. We actually have some more guest announcements that we know about, but we can't tell you, but maybe next week or the week after that. So keep an eye out on the ScareCon socials, on their Facebook, on their Instagram. Head over to scarecon.com because that's where you're going to see the guest announcements. That's also where you can buy your tickets to come hang out with the Junkies in Syracuse, New York, September 5th through 7th of this year. We're so excited to be there. And also head over to Film Freeway and Joseph, and make sure that you're entering your short independent horror films and short films and feature films into that festival as well. What's up, Jeff? So lots of our oldies coming on tonight. So thank you guys. We have issue number 15 of the Indie Horror Junkie magazine available now. That is going to be, there we go, our 2-year anniversary. You've got Rick and I on the cover, just a little bit about who we are and what we do. You've got the clock. You've got the cover of Screamboat. You've got the film festival. You've got the podcast. You've got some Easter egg clues in there for some new projects that we have coming up. We also have The Turning. We can't wait for you guys to see that. The Turning is a short film that we produced together through Indie Horror Junkie, and that is now starting to make its way through the film festival circuit. So once that's available, we'll definitely let you guys know all about that. And of course, we have the lovely Amy Schumacher-Lamorte here, rock of the magazine at Scarecrows. There she is, our indie horror hottie of this issue, producer, lead actress, and the incredible, lovable Screenboat film. They just had an amazing run in theaters. And on May the 2nd, they're going to be available for physical media. So also head to their socials and check out and follow everything they have going on, because they're killing it, you guys. And it's all about supporting indie horror. So make sure that you're definitely checking them out. We have New Jersey Horror Con coming up. I'm going to head out there in about 2 weeks. I'm going to be promoting The Clock, The End, The Boy from Below, The Turning. I'm going to have every issue of our magazine at the booth available. We'll have posters, headshots. So come say hello, take pictures, just hang out. There's going to be a ton of incredible guests there. This is my second time going to New Jersey Horror Con. I think this time is going to be a really good time, as always. So definitely head to their socials, head to NewJerseyHorrorCon.com, get your tickets. It's going to be at Showboat in Atlantic City, where everything is happening. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We have The Clock available, both on streaming platforms, Tubi, Amazon, Vudu, Plex, Chilling, FlixSwing, and we also have physical media. We have our Blu-rays available. So head over to IndieHorrorJunkie.com and get all your info on that, and pick up some Blu-rays, you guys. And speaking of The Clock, we now have some tarot cards available through the tarot card app, and they are featuring some behind the scenes of cast, behind the scenes photos. It's just a fun way to get to know what's going on in the indie scene, collect and trade cards. So shout out to tarot cards. They're super cool, super great. We love working with them. And download their app and see what they're all about. We do have a little sneak peek, you guys. So normally we drop the next issue of every magazine on the first of the month that it's releasing. But we love you guys, and you're so cool and hang out and support with us. We want to go ahead and give you a sneak peek tonight. So rickety doo dah, throw it up, bud.
Here you go.
Look at that. So on the cover is the new indie horror film that's going to be coming out this year, 259. That is from our buddy Cody Newton, writer, director of this film. He's also an incredible DP, but this was a film that he wrote and directed and really focused on that. We can't wait for you guys to see this. We had Cody on a few episodes back. I want to say maybe 81 we had him on. Head over to our YouTube channel, Indie Horror Junkie Podcast on YouTube, and check out the podcast with Cody Newton on it, because we've really gotten to some great behind the scenes photos and talked a lot about this incredible film. So definitely follow him on socials, be on the lookout for this. We're super excited to drop this tomorrow as a teaser for the magazine, which is going to come out on the 13th of May, right before I head to New Jersey Horror Con. So I'm packing this issue and taking it with me.
Wow.
So you can start your pre-orders tomorrow. So head over to IndieHorrorJunkie.com starting tomorrow. With all of your pre-orders, you get a free copy of a PDF of any of our back issues. You can get this issue or 1 through 15, a free PDF. So that's always a really fun incentive, just to go ahead and pre-order, get that in, and then you get 2 for onesies. So.
And then you got the promo there showing you all the amazing articles that we have in the upcoming issue, from Bagman Rising to Sorority of the Damned. And our indie horror hottie is Caitlin Newberry.
Oh, yeah. She's a busy gal. She is hitting the scene, and she has some incredible movies coming out. We've had her on the podcast before as well. So definitely excited to highlight her and all of the hard work and the cool work that she's doing on the indie horror scene. So we'd like to definitely shout out to the ladies who are out there hustling and making a name for themselves and putting in the work. So that's what that section is all about. But we're going to have some fun with our guest tonight. We've got a really cool trailer. This is his horror sci-fi short film, Kreaster. We're going to go ahead and play the trailer and then bring Jacob on.
All right, here is the trailer for Kreaster.
The itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout.
You are the only citizen to make it out of town following this event.
Down came the rain and washed the spider out.
I was there when those things took them. Got us one by one.
The bitsy spider went up the spout again.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because I said Kreaster.
I heard that. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm a ding dong.
No worries.
She was
My
thinking
bad.
about-
Not the name of the film, and it probably won't be the first time I mispronounce it. But anyways, welcome to the show, Jacob. I'm sorry about that.
Thanks for having me. No worries at all.
Kreaster. You think I know that by now since it's in the magazine, and I've been talking about it all day. So, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining the Junkies. Tell us a little bit about that creepy little short intro to your film that we just saw there.
Yeah, so that's the teaser to the short film. The short film itself runs like 14 minutes long. We're just starting our festival run. We premiered, I guess it would have been about 3 weeks ago at the Huntington Film Festival here on Long Island, and right now we're just waiting to see where we land with all the upcoming submission deadlines, and we're kind of hitting the road with it, so you say.
It's exciting. It's fun. For me, it's fun to get to that point where you're putting it in festivals and you're getting to see, the feedback from, hey, Dean, the feedback from everybody that's getting, to check it out at these festivals.
Yeah.
And the festivals themselves, kind of like seeing how everybody likes it. It's a fun part of the filmmaking process. Give everybody a little bit, without any spoilers, a nice synopsis of this film and what they can expect.
So the short, let's see, how would I break it down? It is about a military colonel and a supernatural specialist who are tasked to interview the lone survivor of an event where an entire town's population disappeared, and he's the only survivor. And so during that interview process, we flash back to different moments in what caused the disappearance, leading to the end where there's a nice little twist.
All right. And you collaborated with Philip Buchanan and Emmy Award-winning writer Bill Handstock. How did you get involved with these guys, and what was that process for you?
So Bill and I went to college together hundreds of years ago, and we've written tons of material together. He's a great writer, a great person, and we love working together. So we are constantly bouncing ideas back and forth. We've had multiple films that we've written and produced. Some I've directed, some I've produced, or just kind of went through the motions with that. But we have a ton of projects that we're trying to get going now. And he's his own solo writing career is going great as well. And then with Philip Buchanan, my representation introduced me to Philip probably about 3-4 years ago. He hired me to write a horror film about a giant alligator set in Florida called Alligator Alley. And that through that process, we got...
That's what we call that.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, so he's from Florida. He went to Miami, University of Miami, played football there, played in the NFL, and is now getting into the entertainment industry. So we've done a number of projects together. So we did Alligator Alley. We're in the process of finding a home for that one. Then he brought Bill and I on to do Kreaster, the feature version.
Kreaster is the name of it.
Yeah, Kreaster. The feature version of that. And then, through that process, he started tossing around the idea of doing a proof of concept short. So we started discussing how we wanted to approach that. And so Bill and I got together along with Philip, and we broke down the feature into kind of an idea that we thought would sell the overall story. The short itself is set in the aftermath of the event. The feature is the experience of the event. So it's the feature itself is heavy on military action. So it's more of an action horror film than a with obviously some sci-fi, but the short itself is more character-driven, story-driven, and has that heavy sci-fi element.
We love the merge of genres. I feel like it just makes the films way more exciting. And what's fun about it is I swear people sometimes just create genres when it comes to horror. They
Yeah.
create a merge of different subgenres, and I think it's cool to kind of explore that. And we talked about Philip playing for the NFL. He did play for the Bucks. Fun fact, also 100 years ago, I cheered with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for
Oh, wow. Okay.
We did not. I'm about 100% sure we did not. We weren't there at the same time.
Got it.
So
That's
go
cool.
Bucks.
Yeah, go Bucks.
But yeah, that was 100 years ago as well. No, so it's cool to kind of see him taking a little bit of a different path after leaving the game.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, he's got a lot of really cool stuff. He's created a couple comics that were released over the last couple of years, and they've done really well. I've actually adapted those comics into 2 features for him.
And he wrote the comics and had them illustrated, or he also did the illustrations?
Well, he wrote and developed the comic, and then had somebody illustrate it. So yeah, they came out. It's the Supernals Experiment was the first one, and then the Aquatic Born was the second one that he did. And so what we're trying to do here, along with the singular features, each movie has a tie-in to the other. So we're kind of building our own universe, with this material that he has at his disposal in his own IP.
Rick and I love that. Rick and I are big fans of comics. We love tying comics into what we do. We have several artists that we work with. Actually, we saw the cover of this last issue of the magazine. That was Lou Russo. He's actually a Tampa illustrator. He worked with us to come up with the thematics of, what we do with Indie Horror Junkie. So super appreciative to him for that. We work a lot with Louis D. Gallegos. He was also in that issue of the magazine. He's a huge supporter of indie horror films, Indie Horror Junkie. He's been an illustrator for Family Guy actually for the past 20 years. Wow. So shout out to Louis. We love him, but we love also incorporating like that whole universe with the movies and the comics. It's just so much fun when you can tie everything in on different platforms, because that interest just expands and you get a whole new audience, and it just makes it more fun, and it makes it really marketable too. Right. So I can't wait to check that out. Dean Blackwalder here says that's a cool trailer. Any other places to see your short? Well,
yeah. Well, right now we don't have it available out yet. We're hitting the festival circuit with it, so right now we're just waiting on the acceptances and these submission deadlines. So as soon as we start getting it out there more, we'll slowly start loosening the lock a little bit on the short itself, and then hopefully we'll find a home to make it available for everybody.
Very cool. Now, what was your process for filming this? Did you film it in New York? Did you film it in Florida? Where was the location?
We shot the short in Connecticut. I brought on my producing partners who I work with a lot, and we put it together, shot in Connecticut over 2 days. One day was the interview itself, and then the other day was the flashback material and the fight scene.
2 days is impressive. Rick and I have done that before. That's like because we have the location for 2 days. We love a nice 3-day short film shoot, but 2 days is you guys definitely did your pre-production to make that happen.
Yeah, we definitely took our time, put it together. We're ready when we showed up. We thought we had our locations locked and we had the agreement and everything, and then actually the location where the interview takes place, we lost that the morning of.
No.
And we had to quickly pivot, and luckily our locations guy knew somebody who owned a car dealership, and where we shot the interview with all the windows was actually the carport of the car dealership, where they do their smog testing and stuff like that.
Did it magically work out better than expected?
It magically worked out better than expected. It opened doors for more VFX elements to really bring the environment and the world that we were trying to create, kind of bring it home. We were able to add in a lot of military elements that we otherwise wouldn't have been able to add. So it worked out for our favor.
Yeah, it happens, and we love when it happens.
Sometimes we do. Sometimes
There's that mild freak out. You're like, oh, we don't have our location, but we have to film today.
Yeah.
And then you just, you make other plans. You problem solve along the way. Welcome to indie horror. So, outside of this film, are you and Philip going to be working on other projects together, or do you have other projects in the pipeline that we can talk about?
So Philip and I right now, we just probably about 2 months ago shot another proof of concept for the Supernals experiment. So we're in post on that, almost done with the cut, and then we'll start the VFX. That one is more of a sci-fi superhero type of movie. A little bit of aliens mixed in. So we shot the short there. We did a really sweet, fun fight sequence. We did wire work on it. So we really tried to elevate, give that idea of these people being superheroes and having these powers. So we had a lot of fun with it. So we're working on that. And we're talking about doing a third based on the Aquatic Born. So we're moving and shaking, trying to create our own material and create our own luck in this crazy world of entertainment. So
I mean, good for you. You guys are doing it. You're making your moves. So that's all you can,
Is-
just stay busy to stay relevant. What you got, Rick?
exactly.
I was going to say, with regards to Philip, is he pretty hands-on in as far as on the set and stuff like that, or?
No, actually. He and I chat. I'm very open about where I want to go creatively with the material, and how I'm going to achieve it. If he has his thoughts and his ideas, he imparts them, and we chat about it, and we move forward from that point.
Okay.
He's not coming into it telling me how to create these pieces. So it's a really good working relationship, and it's been a lot of fun.
No, I was basically asking if is he on set? Is he?
Oh, yes, he is on set. He comes in from Florida. We hang out at Rap, and we're just trying to make the best movies we can.
Yeah,
You
I like
guys
that.
are gonna have to make an excuse to film in Florida now. Just not during the summer. We don't
I know.
summertime.
I'll
Unless
make it happen.
interior shots, that's for sure.
Yeah,
We got some pictures.
Let's check them out.
Yeah, I'll bring these pictures up one at a time, and you can kind of give us a brief idea of maybe who's in the picture and kind of what's going on without giving anything major away. Okay.
Sure.
All right, here we go.
So this is actor Sal Rendino, who's amazing. He's a New York actor, has been working for years and years and years. He shows up prepared and ready to rock. And on this, he showed a whole different side. I worked with him on a kids movie that I wrote called Junkyard Dogs that I wrote and directed. And it was, light, fluffy, kind of a Home Alone with Dogs movie.
Nice.
And, it was light and fluffy for him. And it was fun being the villain in the movie. So when he came to do this film, I got to see a whole different side, which was fantastic.
Nice.
This is Forrest and Amy. They play the wife and son of Sal's character, Beauchamp. And this is a post-event in the film, right before all the craziness starts. And this is Forrest giving his best creepy vibe.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
These are a little bit of a flashback. In the feature, they take kind of shelter inside of a church, and that church falls under siege. So we played a little bit with that in the short, in doing these flashbacks, and our VFX guy, Paul Stamper, did an amazing job on the piece, and we burnt down a church.
Very nice.
And this is Laura Poe, another New York-based actor. She's great. She did a movie that I directed and wrote for Lifetime a couple years ago. She's
The Blacklist as well, right?
What's that? Oh yes, in the Blacklist. Yep. Tons of stuff. She was recently in Twisters, the remake or the redo. If you ever need somebody to come in and just kill it, Laura's your person.
Very nice.
And this is Forrest getting his face pummeled.
Favorite pick.
Yeah.
I'm taking it he's getting his face pummeled by this guy.
By that guy, yes. His own father. This is the
his own dad?
Yeah, this is the emotional moment where, post reveal that his son is not who we think he is, and he's forced to do the unthinkable.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, and we have one more picture here. This is basically the spread of the 3-page article that we have in the upcoming issue that will be released on the 13th.
Looks great.
Awesome. Looks good. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I'm getting a very Invasion of the Body Snatchers vibe from this movie. Am I pretty much on point, you think?
It's very close to Invasion of the Body Snatchers. A little bit of Phantoms, the 1996 movie with Ben Affleck. Miramax. Philip brought me the kernel for this movie, and ever since high school, I've loved the movie Phantoms, and I've always wanted to make a sequel, follow-up movie to that. And when this opportunity came, I took the little bits of ideas that I had for what a sequel of Phantoms could be, and I injected those in with Bill into this movie, into the feature version. In the hopes that maybe Miramax might want to make a follow-up based off this script. What's that?
Just start tagging them on all your posts.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Tag.
So if I heard you correctly at the beginning, the short film, which is basically in the film festival circuit now, is actually a sequel to what will take place in the feature version, right?
Yeah, so it was the short itself takes place in the aftermath of what happens in the feature script.
Okay. And the feature right now is basically at the script stage, and is it going to be made, or is it pretty much just...
We are looking for a home right now. Now that the short is done, we're sending out the short as the proof of concept, along with the script and the deck and all the other materials. And we're hitting the ground and trying to find a home that will want to make it a reality.
There you go. I have a question. Besides the location not happening on the day of, and you had to kind of make other plans for that, were there any other challenges that you came across, either in pre-production or production or post-production? We like to get in the nitty-gritty here for all the other creatives watching, and just
I mean, for the most part, I think coming into it, and I knew how I wanted to shoot it and what it was all going to entail. But to piggyback on the location thing, when we had this switch and we all of a sudden had these windows, I wasn't necessarily sure how it was going to work until I, got Paul on the phone and was like, all right, man, like what we had planned is not happening. But I am in a place that has tons of windows. Can you do X, Y, and Z if I want you to, or if we need to, can this happen? And he was like, yeah, man, whatever you want, like we'll make it happen. So that then kind of expanded my mind a little bit on what was possible. And then once we started going with the VFX, then the creative juices just started flowing between Paul and I. And, it seemed like almost every scene, every shot, we were injecting something that would tie in the lore a little bit more. So yeah, there was an iffy moment there that day where I was like, okay, how I'm seeing the world. How are we going to make the world what it needs to be without that being talked about ever?
Yeah.
So
We have a question here that I'll put. If you, like I said, if you don't want to answer it, you don't have to. I totally understand. But obviously, we said there's filmmakers and stuff that always watch. So
yeah, what was the budget? Awesome. Well, please do. I want to see it. The budget for this was $19,000.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we made it a point that everybody got paid, cast, crew, everybody got their rate on it, and that's the way that my producing partners and I and Philip like to work. Everybody gets paid for their work. So we built out the budget, beforehand, and we knew what we were walking into monetarily before we began. And so, yeah, we took that and we ran with it.
very cool. I mean, I saw some really good effects in there. Were there a lot of practical effects and VFX, kind of a nice mixture, or was it mainly practical? How did that really work?
We did a lot more VFX. So we did some practical, with layers of blood and stuff like that, and built on it from there. So that gave Paul a nice base to create the gore effects that we do. And then we did some with the kind of gunfight material that we do in the flashbacks. We did have some blowbacks with the guns, but we didn't fire any blanks or anything. So a lot of all the muzzle flashes are VFX, the tracer fire, all that material that is in there. But we did do some base stuff for Paul to build off.
I mean, the great thing about having, someone working VFX that you can collaborate with is like when you're on set, you can only use so much blood if you have to clean up and go home. You can't just splatter blood everywhere unless you've got tarp and you have time to do it. But when you have 2 days to get in a 20-minute short film, that's when you have to kind of get creative and then rely on the VFX in post to kind of bring everything to life. But it sounds like you guys, accomplished that. So
yeah, it works. I mean, we have a really nice team that I work with a lot. A lot of the people that worked on this have worked on probably my last four features. So
love that when you can bring people back and
so we have a really nice team out here that I work with a lot, and everybody we're all friends now. So it's we'll try and pick each other up, try and work on each other's material projects, and we're all just trying to make the best stuff we can make.
Beautiful. I love that. And we saw that you have this incredible cast. What was your casting process? Did you kind of have in mind who you wanted? I know you said you worked with some of them before. Did you do any casting calls? What was that process like for this?
No casting calls. I really just built these characters based on who I knew, because I knew that we weren't gonna have a ton of time to go through the casting process. Right. But I wanted to work with my friends and people I've worked with before, and really give them an opportunity to do something different than what I had seen them do. So everybody,
they love you for that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I love working with them. So it was really just, I wanted to work with people I knew, and I just gave them a call and said, hey, read this. Is this something you'd be into? And everybody was like, yeah, just tell me when to show up.
Very cool. Yeah, when you've worked with an actor and you give them an opportunity to do something different and show their range, that makes the actor so happy, because you want to be able to show different sides of yourself. You don't want to continue just to do the same thing over and over again and continue to be typecast for one specific thing. So as an actor, I can say that's really cool for them that you as the writer and director can see all that is what's in them, and you want to give them the opportunity to showcase that and bring that out, because that's just a dream for a creative to be able to use their training and evolve as well.
Right, exactly. And everybody came in prepared, ready to go. And again, shooting it in 2 days, I needed people who were going to show up and hit the ground running. So, that was what I was hoping for and what we got. And it was great. It was fantastic.
One of the questions I always try to ask for the filmmakers out there, what's the indie film scene like in your neck of the woods? Is it pretty, buzzing this all yet? Because we talked to a couple of people a couple of weeks ago that they have almost non-existent. So what's it like?
I mean, there's some stuff going. It's seemingly slowed down a little bit. We were doing a lot of Tubi films and Lifetime movies, and up in Connecticut, a year ago, we were pumping them out. But this year, it's pretty slow. But it seems like people are starting to get things together. We're hoping to shoot another film this summer. We're hopefully locking the funding tonight or tomorrow. That's the hope. It's really right now we're just trying to hit the pavement and knock on those doors and see where everybody's at. There is stuff shooting in town here. I'm in the town of Huntington, which is a really great kind of artistic village, you would say. A lot of people in the entertainment industry live in the area, so there's a lot of people looking to do things and shooting small things. And I have actually a couple people that I met at the festival that are, putting themselves to task and making sure that they shoot a short film, every month. So they're, taking their own initiative and, doing these, couple minute shorts, as much as humanly possible. So so it's a good vibe out here.
Tim Morgan is crossing his fingers for you.
Yeah.
No, thank you, Tim. Tim is the guy that I work with a lot as well. He's another co-writer of mine, and we have a number of things in the works. So what's up, man?
Yeah, thanks for checking out the Junkies. But I love that question. Is that's a great budget for a short film, and mad respect, because Rick and I like to take care of our cast and crew as much as we can as well. And we're always, writing those checks for everybody else. We're like, we're not paying ourselves. We got to feed everybody.
Exactly.
You want to take care of the people that are taking care of you and putting the work in and showing up, and they're ready to go, and you can rely on them, and they make your job so much easier, and they make it all worth it. So
exactly. And that's exactly what Kreaster was all about. Exactly what Supernals was all about. It was about just bringing everybody together, making sure they got what they needed. For me, it's I'm not taking a fee on it. So like for me, it's like I get to make a cool movie. And
exactly.
So that's all I need for these projects.
Yeah, and as a filmmaker myself, and with Amy, we found that by paying people, it also makes it a lot easier to get those people to come back and do more later.
Exactly.
It's always nice.
Exactly.
They feel appreciated, because they're putting the work in too. There's a lot of work that goes into creating a character and to making those commitments to the your choices when you're building this character and doing the work at home. Because if you don't do the work at home, you ain't gonna do the work on set.
Right, exactly. Even though it's a short film, you're spending hours upon hours, weeks upon weeks trying to put it together,
breaking it all down. And another question I love that you asked, Rick, is the community that you're in and how busy and active is it? That takes me back, or it reminds me of our feature film for this year's Indie Horror Junkie Film Festival. The winner was a film called Sigil, and we had the writer, director, producer on the show, and we asked him that same question. And we had over 25 films in the festival that were selected. And when it came down to the feature film, Rick and I were the tiebreaker on it because it was so close. It was just two really, really phenomenal films. And when we asked him about the community that he had to work with, he's like, there is none. Like, it's just us. And basically the crew that we had to make this film were people that just said, they were the only people that said yes. We didn't even have a pick of a pool of people. It was just like, whoever raises your hand, come over here,
Right.
and they had a skeleton crew, and they rented, you know, not to be cliche, like a cabin in the woods, but it worked. It worked. It was two actors in the film. Well, three technically, but they made it work. And I never would have guessed that they're just kind of in the middle of nowhere, just making whatever happen they can make happen, because it was a really cool, creepy, slow burn A24 like, you know, aesthetic and feel. And here they are,
those
just,
are the funnest things to do.
doing it themselves and just letting, you know, committing to their creativity in a way where they might not have a lot of support other than online. So, you know, shout out to Sigil, you guys.
Good for them. I want to see the movie.
Yeah. I don't know if we can get a screener for you, or if it's, I don't know if it's streaming anywhere yet. Anything in your back pocket that you want to do?
Oh boy. Well, I would love to do. I would love to do the feature version of Kreaster.
I was going to say.
I would love to do that. I would love to explore the backstory that we've created in this world, tying it into Easter Island and the Easter holiday, because that's when the feature version is set, and how this backstory comes to life is through the lore behind Easter Island and the holiday. So diving into that element of it, I think would be really fun to do. So doing the feature version of Kreaster would be great. And then, I have a number of other things that I'm talking to with other producers. I have a movie called Into the Ether that is kind of a labor of love. It's been kicking around for almost 10 years, something that Bill and I wrote together. It's been almost made probably 5-6 times and has just never gotten across the finish line. That's one I'd love to do. That one I call that one a horror film for parents.
Really? I like that.
Yeah, it's about a man who's helping local authorities look for a missing girl in the woods. And in the process of doing that, he uncovers the truth behind his daughter's disappearance a couple years earlier.
That's so stressful to watch.
Yeah,
those are the films that like really screw me up when it's stuff about kids. Rick knows this. Like anything about kids, like my chest is clenched the whole time. I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm just saying it affects me. So if you call it a parent film, like every parent is completely just like this the whole time.
Yeah. So it's that is one that I've had that's in my back pocket for a very long time. So I'd love to dive into that one at some point. And I've made a number of horror short films, but I've never made a horror feature. And I love the genre. Have been vying for horror features for a very long time, trying to get them off the ground. Have been up for a couple things, but just have never been able to form it into a reality for myself. And I'd love to do that
for you soon. I feel like you've got something really cool here with us, and
I do too.
Yeah,
the trailer's got a great vibe. A question I had for you earlier: you mentioned you've done a few Tubi films and stuff like that. Is that something that you've done and then just submitted to Tubi and they've been accepted, or is that something where you're actually working with Tubi on making original films for them? Or
I've written a number of original Tubi films, genre films. I did Titanic 666 for them. It was one of their very first original movies. So I wrote that with a buddy of mine named Jason White. That was a really kind of random and fun experience. I had written a movie called Flight 666 years before that for the Asylum. And it had, I guess, when Tubi started to rise up, Flight 666 had done a really bang-up job on their platform, and they called Asylum and said, hey, we want another 666 movie. So then Asylum got in touch with me, and we put together Titanic 666, did that. I did the new War of the Worlds for Tubi probably a year and a half, 2 years ago. And then what else?
I was going to say that War of the Worlds, that wasn't the one that was with C. Thomas Howell, was it?
No, that was the newest one is not Stephen Baldwin, Billy Baldwin.
Okay.
So I was involved in writing of that, yeah, and then we started producing. My producing partners and I started producing some Tubi movies for them as well, more the thriller type of projects.
Very cool. But you got a nice in there with Tubi. I like that.
Yeah.
So you definitely put the work in a little bit.
A little bit. I try.
That's how it works. Yeah.
Definitely how it works. But speaking of horror and your love for the genre, what would you say some of your go-to cozy, feel-good horror films are that you love to watch and rewatch, or something that has inspired you over the years that made you want to, make a horror film? I know there's so many. So just name
I would say one of my top films is The Descent.
Love that movie.
It is like a masterclass in how to create tension in a film. I love that movie. I love. Do
you like the sequel?
Not as much.
Okay, not as much, but it wasn't bad though.
It wasn't.
It picked up right where the first one ended. Yeah.
I like Prince of Darkness. That movie inspired me to write a movie called Grad Night, which is kind of in that vibe. That's another one I'd love to make in the horror scape. It's that one is inspired by Prince of Darkness. Is about a group of disparate high schoolers on their graduation night, and the devil comes back to resurrect himself and find a host, and he basically zombifies the student body on graduation night, and this group has to find out how to survive, but also how to stop the devil at the same time.
Damn those high schoolers.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be a fun age group to work with. I feel like young adult actors are really vulnerable and open, and they don't really question their instincts as much. At least that's my experience. I just feel like that's such a fun age to work with.
Yeah, I've worked in that, I guess you would call it 18 to 24 age range a number of times, and it's always really fun because they come in excited. They're coming with a bunch of ideas, and obviously if you're making a movie for a specific age range, they are in that age range, so they know how they behave, they know how their friends behave, and what that age range is going to like. So
you feed it,
Yeah, exactly.
And yes, of course, there's going to be Jaws 666 coming soon.
Work with the asylum. I think everything is in the water, right?
Man, I have written numerous shark movies.
Oh, really?
So I wrote 3-Headed Shark Attack for the asylum. 5-Headed Shark Attack. I just wrote with my buddy.
Do 5.
Yeah. They did 5. They actually turned around. They asked me to do 6, and I just couldn't do 6. But they did make 6. They did do.
They were just down here in Florida, in Tarpon Springs last year, filming right before the hurricanes happened. And actually, Rick and I helped out with that production. Rick helped out a lot with that, helping just cast up and crew up. Met with them when they came down, and just kind of met at the location and just helped out, how we could. And it was a crazy time for them because they were filming, and then all of a sudden we had one hurricane happen. And so they had to take the whole production and head south because the coast was just destroyed from all of the flooding. And so then they moved south, and then Rick was supposed to film. He was cast in it. And then when he was going to shoot and they moved south, it was 2 weeks later, we got hit with another terrible hurricane. It was back to back. It sucked so bad. We just could not get a break down here. And, but I mean, knock on wood, we're good, but still it was a rough go, especially for them. And they're flying back and forth and figuring it out. And they ended up not even be able to film where they were. They had to go back. And then I don't even know where they ended up filming the rest of it to complete.
I think a lot of it was Miami, Fort Lauderdale area, somewhere around there. But the people behind that was the director of Sharknado,
Yeah.
Yeah, so they did that, and hopefully that'll be coming out here sometime soon. We're hoping to have that in the magazine as well, so
Awesome.
we'll definitely keep you posted.
Yeah, let me know. That'd be great. That's cool. Jason and I just got done writing another one for them. It's a big, it's a shark movie about a storm hitting a small town on the coast and bringing in hungry sharks.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
Definitely brought a lot in. People had like 6 feet of water at their house. People's refrigerators were floating to the, the family room. I felt so bad for that production because they really got rocked and they really had to just, figure it out as they went along, and it was postponed. And, like I said, flying people in and out, it gets expensive,
Right. Exactly. Well, they're a fun company to work with. They're a bunch of really cool people, and they like to just have fun with their films and just make crazy movies. So
they're all divers. Like they were getting in the water with, but they would have their divers with them. So like, hey, like don't let a shark get near me. I'm like, I'm good for a princess dive, and then that's it. I'm too vampire skin to be
a princess dive.
A princess dive where you stay more at the surface.
Oh, okay. So not actually a dive, more like a float around.
That's what they call it, a princess dive. Where you're.
Oh, is it really? That's a real name? Okay.
Yeah, you stay more at the surface. I could not go down. I would freak out. I'm so claustrophobic. I've never done it, but I don't think that I could because I just don't even like the idea of it. But I'll do a princess dive.
All right.
As far as getting deep, I think my ears will just pop and I'll go deaf, and you guys will just throw me off the boat and be done. Get her out of here.
Question for you. With regards to what you're doing right now with Kreaster and the film festival run, did you guys submit it to several film festivals? Did you just kind of pretty much put select ones or whatever it is just to do it? And if you do get accepted, is your plan to actually go out there and possibly get involved with the festival, maybe like a panel or things like that, or just?
Yeah, so we've submitted to probably about 50 or so festivals as of right now. Maybe a couple more. But they're, the deadlines are all through the year, as you know, and the screenings are all through the year. So we're just kind of, waiting to see where we land. Depending on where it is, we definitely would love to have a presence at, whatever festivals we do play in. Either be just attending or being involved in panels or going to Scaricon or MegaCon.
Just saying, just throw it out there.
Everybody.
Just throw it out there.
To answer the question though, yes, whatever we do get into, Philip and I definitely want to have a presence there. Either it be both of us or one of us or, somebody there in proxy. We want to figure out how we can be there and take the opportunity to utilize it as much as possible, both as a marketing tool and, festival experience, meeting the fans, the audience, the movie.
There you go. Yeah. I'm a big fan of going as many festivals as I can around here. Or I'm going back to Jersey. That's why I went out a couple months ago, I think, and it was right after MegaCon. Went out there because we had a film in their festival there. And then now Rick and I have another film in the festival there. So I was like, I'm going back. I'm going to go hang out with my friends and, check out the film with everybody and represent the brand. They're fun. And you just meet so many incredible people. And you don't know who you're going to meet and what that's going to lead to. I tell everybody, if there's festivals in your area, go. If you're in the filmmaking industry, if you're an actor, if you're a writer, director, whatever it is that you want to do, go and network because that's how it happens. I say this all the time. That's how Rick and I met. We met at a film festival,
That's cool. It's great to have something out. I think in the Q&A, somebody asked me kind of the same question about festivals at the Huntington Film Festival. And in that moment, I realized that Kreaster playing in that festival was probably the first time in about 15 years that I've had a movie screen at a festival. And it was such a great experience to be back in that community. Just meeting new people and talking movies and just everything is movies.
It's such a fun energy to be
Yeah,
around. You
it's
know,
fantastic.
it's inspiring. That's how I feel. I feel really inspired when I go. Plus, you get to watch all these other cool films. You know?
Exactly. You get to watch all the cool films, and brought back all the memories because I had a ton of movies when I was younger, play at many different festivals.
Yeah.
And both horror and non-horror. And thinking about how much fun I had during that time just makes me want to do it more. So
I think it's important to sit and watch a good chunk of those other films, because we had somebody on the show the other day saying 1 in 10 films, makes it or like gets a bigger break. And you kind of want to see like who's playing in the sandbox and, who's winning at these festivals and what seems to be relevant, what seems to be overdone. And you're like, I've seen that, or what seems to be fresh and how is it different, and paying attention to that. And, I don't know. I remember one of our actors from The Turning, Lance, came out to the film festival to support The Turning and, support Indie Horror Junkie. And I swear he was there for 3 days and watched every single film.
Every single movie. Never
watched every single film. And he's an incredible actor, and he has been on network TV shows. He is a phenomenal, pay attention to this guy actor. And he sat there and did his homework. He wanted to see these films, these stories, these actors. And I'm like, that's how you do it. Thank you, Charles. First of all, come on back. But big fan of festivals, big fan of following your work. If you put the work in to make this film, like, show it some love, get it out there, market it, care of it. It takes time. You can't just make a film and forget about it. We talk about that a lot too. You really have to give it the love and attention it deserves, or like, what are you doing?
Right, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. I don't know. I've had so many films that the distributors have put out, but there was no real marketing plan behind it. And, us having to pull up our bootstraps and try and find the viewership, find the audience.
Yeah.
Do it ourselves. And that's, the name of the game these days, especially in the indie world. It's, have a plan, put it together. Philip and I are constantly talking about ways to bring Kreaster to a larger audience and how we can do that the most effective way possible. And being able to talk to folks like yourselves and be on shows like this is amazing to be able to do that.
Thank you. We're proud to have you.
Yeah, absolutely. When you champion your film like that, you're naturally creating an organic following. You're going to get followers from tonight's show. You're going to have people who come back and rewatch this. And that's when you kind of get that following that not only is going to pay attention to this film, but they're going to want to know what you're doing at the next film. Email address for film.
Well, do you have like a website address or anything like that you can turn people on to? They can check out.
They can follow you on
Yeah, we don't have an official website, but if somebody wants to reach out to me, you can find me on Instagram, message me there, Facebook. It's jcooney7 on Instagram, coondog1 on Threads, I think it is. So you can definitely reach out to me directly. I don't. There is not a specific website. But you can reach out to myself or even Philip. I believe Philip's Instagram is PB Productions, I believe.
I gotta follow him. I didn't check him out yet.
And after this ends tonight, the podcast will be archived on YouTube. So I'll send you the link if you want to get and share that for people that want to see it after the fact. So they'll get to see the trailer as well at the beginning. And that is a really, really sharp looking trailer. I'm very, very happy for you there.
I love the score. It's so creepy and eerie. Yeah. That was and you guys are sick of hearing me say this. I say it all the time too. I love scores. Rick and I just worked on a short and we watched it without the score complete. And then he sent it to me and I watched it with the score complete. And I was kind of blown away. It gives it a whole different life, It
does.
In so many different directions, but I love where you guys took it. I don't know whose idea that was for that creepy score, but I personally loved it and felt it, and it made me want to see this film. Like, to me, that's how important a score is. Besides it visually being, gorgeous, and I thought it was so well presented, and the production value was beautiful to look at. just that captured me right away. Was that?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we
Yeah.
definitely put in the time and wanted to make it as good as it could possibly be. Hopefully we achieve that. Once everybody's able to see the full movie, they'll be able to see the nugget of the story that I love and where the feature version could go, and the backstory and the lore that we're trying to bring to the forefront.
Yeah, for sure. Well, however we can help continue to support you, you know how to get a hold of us. Tag us on Instagram and Facebook so we can reshare. We're about to kick you backstage again to give you a proper goodbye. But first, we just want to thank you for coming on and sharing with us and sharing with our viewers a little bit about you and Kreaster and what you do and how you made all this happen. It's really important to talk about. Everybody is here, just to put the work in and have something cool happen. And it's inspiring to have guests on like you who have a story to tell that make things feel relatable and tangible. So thank you so much for taking the time to come on.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Like I said, we're going to kick you off stage here, but don't hang up yet. We're going to just say goodbye, and we'll come back and we'll chat with you for a moment.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Very cool. What a fun show. Like I said, it always goes by so fast. But if you guys love what we're doing and you want to continue to support Indie Horror Junkie, our platform, our guests that come on so that we can give a voice to independent horror creatives, find us on YouTube, like us, follow us, comment, follow us on Facebook, Instagram. That's a really great way that you can, hey Lewis, that you can support us and support our guests that come on the show. So with that being said, thank you for
watching.
Tomorrow. There it is.
Cover release, pre-release, pre-sales. Make sure you definitely check that out.
Beautiful. All right, you guys. Well, have a great night, and we'll see you junkies next week.
See you next Wednesday.